Hi everyone and welcome to my studio bag. I'm going to paint African violet today. I don't know how far I'll go with it, but I will start and see if it starts getting too far. I may probably cut some pieces, so we'll see, because I don't think it's easy for anyone to watch it for a long time. So I'm trying to use my plain palette actually, just to show how I mix my colors and how I do my process. So right now I'm using transparent red oxide and viridian. So this is my warm green. So again, I have daylight, it's cool, and it goes from the window. So I'm going to use it as my light source. So at this point I'm squinting and trying to put the darkest darks first. So I have to change brush already. Too small, even for a small painting. So I'm using lots of Gamsol as well. So I'll have to clean my palette quite fast, quite often at this point. Quickly connect my microphone. So I have my microphone now. So I'm using lots of Gamsol, so it would be a transparent mixture. I'm not going to paint the actual pot. I'm only painting flowers. Main thing not to forget where I'm mixing. So starting from my darkest darks and trying to do big shapes of things. Then I'll try to do my negative shapes as well once I put these shapes. They may look like leaves, or they may not look like leaves to start from, but to tell the truth, it's not the main purpose. The main purpose right now to put my darkest darks. So at this point I introduce yellow ochre, a little bit of yellow ochre, just to do some lighter bits. Changing my brush again for a smaller one. Okay, so now I can see lots of purple. Just trying to mix my purple. It's ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson, and I'm just adding a little bit of transparent red oxide still, because there is some warmth in there. Just adding a little bit of purple where I see it. And at this point I will try to see if I can do my background a little bit more, just to see how it goes. Actually, I think, okay, I'll do background because I said I will do, but really I'll need to do flowers, but I'll try to tone it a little, just so this is my orange and cobalt together, and a little bit of white. I'm just trying to see how the valleys will look. So orange and cobalt and titanium white. Sorry. So I'm trying to see how values will work out against the leaves and everything else. So it will be a little warmer on this side, more orangey, more orange, not more orangey but more orange, warm again in comparison to the front side, left side. Cobalt is a strong color here, so I'm trying to see where it goes the lightest. Okay. As you can see, I'm just throwing the colors, really. Just throwing my colors and values and see if it will work this way. So this is a bigger brush. It was number 8, flat synthetic. Changing back to smaller brush and try to find my color for the violets. So actually I'm going to introduce one more color, dioxide purple. And I'm not sure if I'll use a lot of it. It's very strong, but it perfectly matches my violets and dark as well. So it's very similar to what I mixed already anyway, to the darkest purple. So I'm using ultramarine blue at this point to start from. So this is going to be my first flower. This will be my flower a little bit further there at the back and not as saturated. The color, so I'm adding white, that's the only thing I'm modifying. So really this ultramarine blue, alizarin, crimson, and I added for warmth a little bit transparent red oxide, and here's this dioxide purple with some white. I'm just trying to see which ones will work best for me. So again, this one at the back, trying to find mid values. Try not to overmix or not to go too light yet. Just want to see. So now I'll go with the other flowers. So this flower is actually darker than the other one. This is my darkest flower, so I have to go a little lighter on this one and brighter. By brighter, I may even introduce like pure alizarin, I don't know yet. See? And now I'll go back to my darkest flower at the back. Then I have this flower turning petals. Again, a little bit more white on this one, and I can see it's warmer actually and more purple rather than blue. So that's a good for my color variation on this one. Yeah, that looks good. So that's my first batch of flowers here. So I'm kind of talking to myself right now, trying to see the direction of petals and things. So this is flower overlapping, and because it's overlapping, it goes on top of these ones, and it has more purple and lighter. It's very interesting how the color changes. So it goes this way, a little bit here, here, and here. It's darker on the edges, so I'm not going in any details of like going through every petal or anything. Just trying to put my basic shape. So because they are more small flowers, I kind of have to do a little bit of tweaking here and there. Okay, so I'll try to put my negative shapes in the between flowers a little bit. Don't have any stems yet, but this is a really good negative shape that I see. And I know that there are stems there, and no, I can see that I missed negative shape here. As you can see now, I'm kind of trying to carve more and look at my values more as well. My brush is smaller as well, and I don't want to contaminate this mixture, but my color is gray. So you see now I'm painting this background over the leaves because I know that I threw original values and original flowers just roughly, so I can paint over them because it's thin. It's relatively thin. So I'm still using cobalt and orange and white, just different proportions. Just seeing where I need to put it. So a little bit here. So now I need to go back with my leaves as well. So just to add a little bit more dark where it was, so a little bit more. I'm not adding red yet. I can see some reds, but I just want to kind of do more shaping at this point, and then I'll start adding more color and refining them. So this is kind of, I think it's cool. No, I'm wrong. I think it's lighter but duller, because it's lighter and duller. I may add a little bit of white. It's kind of grayish, even gray brown color. Yeah, something like that. Over there, like that over there as well. So you can see my green mixture. I'm keeping the same mixture, but I just go with different variations of it. So the dark behind this violet. This one. I need to curve through there. And I keep my edges soft at this point. So what I can introduce this stem. So I'm using a little bit of Terra Rosa, a little bit of white, and maybe just a little bit. Terra Rosa is a very strong color. So, but I want that stem to be pronounced. So I'm doing a little bit of this, and then a little bit of that, and the same there. There are a lot of pinks down here. They're not bright pinks, they're kind of duller pinks, but they're adding good variation. So, still stems. I'm still working on stems right now. So I will be going between leaves and stems and jumping around. Just there is this leaf in front. Need more viridian because this is leaves, even though it has darker shape on that side. No, there is. So I kind of keep all my mixtures in the same place. So I have this dull color. A little bit of a dull, it was green. It's almost gray, but it's kind of dark green. That's one of the leaves here. Or one of the stems. You can see it can be a little bit darker here. It's not as purple though. So as I go, I modify. And I will be going with a small brush. It's just this one is very pronounced stem, so I want to put it there. Now I can bump up value of my green leaf here by bumping up. I mean, first add dark and then the rest will pop up. So introducing some lighter yellow, so cad yellow light, not very light, but just to see how it will look. Yeah, should look okay. Because this is most like light and saturated area. Yeah. The same I do for the front leaf, just to see how it will look. Actually, it's very kind of rough-edged leaf. This African violet, I think, may not survive the winter the way it goes because leaves are dying. Last year I bought another one and it had the same kind of story, but I think it's something in Home Depot with plants. I don't know what they're doing to them, because my home plants grow well for years and years, but these African violets, I don't know why they die so fast. So I hope it will last though. Anyway, that's a lyrical discussion that's not related. Okay, so let me see what other darks I see here. So there is a little leaf down there, and this leaf drags here, but it's dull. It's very dull color. There's one leaf that's very light and very dull as well. So I made in green. Yeah, it's very, very like gray green at the back. And the good thing with dull colors, they help you to. Sorry, I'm throwing just a lot of white in here now. I should say sorry, just I didn't say what I'm doing. So these dull colors, they actually really help to bring up bright colors. So it's like a combination: warm, cool, dull, bright, saturated. There's a little bit of darkness here though, just a tiny bit. You can see I'm painting very loosely, not worrying about edges, I mean borders or contours that much, because there will be time to do that. And normally I do wet and wet. I really like Alla prima, but what I do normally also, I leave painting for the next day, paint still wet but not dry, and then but it's already settled, not settled but set. So I go and do some little tweaks, plus my eye is much fresher, so that helps a lot. So now I'm going to do some negative shaping here. Again, trying to be soft but clean. This color, like I said, very, very, very saturated. What to do with it, I don't know. I probably will dissolve it with more white and cobalt. But the good thing, you can have some of background color and in flowers. So if first I was reserving my white because I wasn't sure how light I can go, now I can see better. So I can do more light. So I'm carefully shaping around it. Really painting silhouette. Painting silhouette is very fascinating. It's like doing puzzle. So I need to do it a little bit darker in that area, and it's a little warmer here at background. You can see some shadows here. So this value I took is right. It seems to be too dark, but apparently it's not that dark. Okay, I'll start working on background leaves a little more. So what I can see here is relatively dark again. I can paint in background, I can paint over it, and other way around. Trying to squint. This leaf has a little bit different shape. Trying to get it. A little bit of Terra Rosa and viridian. If you can see Terra Rosa, I put viridian on top of it, and I should have taken a very little amount of Terra Rosa because it's really, maybe it's not Terra Rosa. Oh yes, it was English red that I used for a pet portrait in the fur. So that's why it's so strong. It's unbelievable, like so much pigment. Good value for money though. Little goes a long way. So okay, now I'm going to the front leaf. I mean not front, the front in comparison with the other one. This one is again duller, a little bit duller in front. So because of the camera I kind of have to tweak it. a little bit, just to make sure I do it right. Okay, this terra rossa will work well for me now on this leaf. This leaf that I haven't painted that much yet. I did it as one shape. Okay, that's fine. At some point I may stop talking because I need to focus. So I can see lots of gray in this leaf actually, surprisingly, because it has this soft texture. Now I can go with more red. So I'll go back to my original mixture of alizarin and ultramarine. I added some more alizarin. I think I may add an even cad red light just to see how it works, and because they're warm, under their leaves are really warm, but not too warm. But I don't want to lose that warmness, it adds variation. So this leaf is under very warm as well. And I'll go back. So really I'm going back and forth, trying to get the shape right. More white and maybe yellow ochre. Yeah, something like this. I think when I paint, I kind of, sometimes my voice goes very quiet, so bear with me. Means I'm focused. So really what I'm trying to do, I'm going to try to get the shape of that leaf, and at the same time I'm now going to try to get the negative shape under it. Once I get those right, so I think I did this leaf wrong, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of, now you'll see why my panels are good, because what I can do, I can just really wipe it out here, wipe here, yeah. So what I can do, I can wipe from this panel very easy and do what I need to do. So let's start again. So this was the shape of this leaf under, and then I have the shape of leaf comes above it. It's much lighter, but it's not as saturated, surprisingly. It's kind of grayish. And also what I need to do, I need to go with negative shape in between there, and once I go there with negative shape, this warm gray, that's where it would be helpful with this separation of leaves. Yeah. So looks like my orange finishing, but I need to put the shapes in. I can go lighter in some places where I see more light in the background. I better do it with big brush later, but just to kind of give idea how it will work. Put more white in this pile, tiny bit of cobalt. I really like cobalt, it's kind of refreshing, the color, white color, makes it really, really transparent blue, I would say, transparent white. Yeah, so it looks very good with this violet. I can see it now, like combination, really, really kind of reflecting sky, flowers. Yeah. Okay, yeah, in that area. So now I can see, hopefully you can see it on the video, because I tried to combine both palette and video, and also try not to keep it long, so it's kind of challenging, but let's see if it works. Trying to do different combinations of things just to see what works best. Okay, front leaf goes a little bit down, and it goes just off the canvas, and that's fine. It's fine, it's not a big problem. It's not a big problem. Still trying very hard to paint with big brush, because that helps to keep my shapes bold. I have to paint here first. I have to do this negative shape before I continue with the rest of the leaves, because that really defines the shape of the leaf. So a little bit and again, I keep my paints thin, not too thin, but thin enough so I could correct or wipe. I don't put any texture or anything. There's not much thick texture in these flowers. These are very soft ones, so I don't need really use lots of paint. Plus the panels I'm using are very soft and slick. I made them like this myself, so that's what I like about them. I don't have to worry about quality of my panels, because that's the best quality probably I can get my own panels. Of course I don't do my own ground, Gamblin does, but I'm really happy that I found it. Really happy that Gamblin does such good ground. So this one actually one of the darkest background values. So I'm going to, there was some light there, but the rest is really, really dark. Continue working on my negative shapes in here. And then go back to that leaf that I left. Still working with viridian, still working with transparent red oxide. Trying to get this leaf in, has this little light to it. Sometimes you put middle of the leaf and it looks like leaf, so I have to get extra towel. It's not too dark because I'm standing against light. That's to avoid glare, so you get rid of glare, but then you have other problems, so it's really tricky, but I'll get there one day. So now I'm going to go into this leaf that really covering the way. Okay, I'll try to figure out it. I'll try to figure out this leaf. The shape is not complicated, but to put it without touching camera is challenging. And there is this dark leaf coming under it that I didn't put right first time. Okay, I have to walk around actually my palette. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, just that leaf is not very let's see, not very saturated, so kind of mixing it in background. So, and the other one is more saturation to it, so I'll bump it up a little with values and colors both, so we could, even though I should be careful. Oh yes, that's what I was not planning to do, because it's interesting setup. Just to add a little depth to the background leaf. Yeah. So what else I can work on now? I think I can carve around this leaf a little more. Behind here. And I just realized I got so distracted by leaves that I completely forgot about my flowers, and they're my main subject, so this is too light. But I like these negative shapes, they really add. I'll just squint and see what else I can find. So I think I'm going to change the brush. Just work a little bit more on my flowers and bring the colors and values up. So at this point I'm changing to this Sabletech, Royal Sabletech, so number 4. So it's a flat, soft brush. It's synthetic, but it's really nice. I did some pet portraits with it. I keep saying pet portraits. I painted lots of pets recently, just because I love them and because it happened so that people wanted their pets to be painted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just kind of drag it like this for the values. That it will be tricky with this. Normally I can put my hand on it, but in this one it's challenging. I'm challenging my balance with it as well. So a little bit of reddish pink here. Just a touch of this here. And now most beautiful middle flowers. A little bit more here. So what I'm doing now is just using this violet and just increasing values, and use the same colors, really just different proportions. So alizarin, dioxide purple, what else I put here, transparent red oxide. That's about it. I have permanent rose on my palette, but didn't use it really. Didn't need to. The intensity of this one is not as strong. I may try it. Yeah, it gives me like really bright pink. Not sure if I need it. But I like pinks and purples in flowers. They're so beautiful. That one is completely dark. I don't think I will even go touching it. So this one is an interesting one, because we can define petals just by putting these little edges. I think what defines flower, of course, is the middle of the flower, so that's the main thing I need to put. So for that I'm going to use really tiny brush. I bought this brush recently. It's called Silver Brush number 2 round, synthetic. So far it didn't fail me, but I only painted with it a little bit. So I'm using pure cad red light, cad yellow light, not cad red light. So I think I'll try to look at those petals. Actually, I need to walk and look at the middle. Yeah, it's kind of greenish, green-white in the middle. Okay, green-white in the middle. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put some white in it. So I'm going to find middles of each flower. So this one will work fine. This one has this white middle. I'll add yellow afterwards. So this one has the same kind of, but duller. Can mush it in. So this one I put wrong. I'm going to take it. So now I'm going to go this yellow one. And just touch of white, and I'm going to put it just with a little brush. Hopefully you can see it. Oh no, you can't see it. I think I'm going to angle my camera a little bit more right now. Yeah. So this is the yellow one I'm mixing. So they have, like, if you've seen African violets, they have this little yellow things. I think I put too much on this one. Too much because I can't handle my hand properly. So this yellow, actually this one was the most biggest amount of paint on my brush when like the layer is thick, because I want to put them like little beautiful yellow dots. So and I want to keep intensity of color in the middle. So I have one flower, two flower, I have number 3 here. So So these are my central flowers, and this one's kind of go to side, and the one that in the background, it's more like kind of dull greenish color. So I think that will work for now. Yeah, this will work for now. So what I can do, I can bump my values a little bit more on the lightest one. The other good thing to use is transparent colored light and some white, some purple. So it's kind of give you a pinky color, but because it's color variation, it gives you a more interesting look. Even though, like when I squint, I don't see that much of that color. Just a little. Gives a different variation to the petal. Same I can do here. So looks like it changed a little already. Not sure these. I think these flowers change as well as the store-bought flowers. Sometimes they just give you unexpected turn of the petal or something, and or maybe you haven't seen it before. I don't know what happens, but something happens to these flowers too. So like this purple, you can see this purple. Mix it in here using alizarin. It's too bright alizarin, so I'm going to kind of dull it a little. This point, I'm happy with it, so I'll take a tiny break and have a look at my setup and compare it. Unfortunately, my dog is around making noise. He's desperate to go. So yeah, I think I'm going to take a softer brush and work a little bit more on the leaves and background. So now it's much easier because all my values are already there. So just bump up the values of these leaves and see how that will work. Yeah, that works better. Going back to this English red, and I think I will mix some brown. I'll add some brown stems here. I'll take my small brush and try to put some highlights on those stems as well. Some of them are almost white, but they're not really white. They have this red color to them. And I don't want to overdo those as well, because otherwise it will be just white. Okay, I'll take a bigger brush, try to put more depth in under the plant because I can see it. So now I can go thicker with paint because I don't worry now that that part is almost done. So I'm going to enhance it. Like this part even I am using ultramarine and transparent red oxide just to get a little bit more darkness because I have soil in the pot, so I'm not going to paint soil but kind of this darkness adds depth. I think I need more paint. Transparent red iron oxide, that's the one. It's very intense, rich earth brown. Yeah, so I'm adding a little bit of that, a little bit of ultramarine blue. And I may go even there a little, just to give some depth. Somewhere there with negative shapes. Yeah. So I think, what I think is this stem actually not quite right. So I'm going to wipe it a little here. It's very interesting how you look, and then you finally think, oh, I got it wrong. So this stem is right. This stem goes over there, kind of, but you don't see it behind the leaf. So there is kind of leaves there, but it's so indistinct. So I'm going to put it just kind of like this, with a little bit of this gray color that I have, not as gray as the other one. Yeah. But this leaf, the other leaf comes forward, and it has even bigger contrast to it, so it has a sharper edge, I would say. And the other one, it's kind of bent, and this is the leaf, the stem of this leaf overlaps it, so that's why the other one is going to be really dull and indistinct, the background. Yeah, that's how it is. And of course I'm going to cover it with background the same as I did before. Once I cover it with background, it will be almost invisible. So I'm adding cobalt blue to my white mixture. Yeah, normally in the background you don't have to go very sharp, very strong edges. You need to keep it as soft as possible. So this way you know that those leaves in background and the other leaves in foreground. So let me just, but they don't disappear completely like they did in mine. So this leaf, I'll just give illusion, indication of leaf. Same here, kind of illusion of leaf. So continue adding cobalt and white. So this, I think I can make a little lighter. And of course I can go, when it dries a little, I can go with clean color. Have a look at it and see where I can clean, because I know that some of my colors became a little muddy. So I think I will work on the leaf again. It looks like leaves take more my time than flowers, but that's fine. Leaves are nice to study. I like leaves, I like all plants. So this leaf is really interesting because it's curves and it kind of falls here and then it goes back again. So for the leaf it's important to put the middle, then it kind of gives you idea. And I noticed that surprisingly this one has like almost like acidic yellow color to it in here in the middle, and that's good because we need this saturation. It's not like I invented it, it's there. So this saturation, as I just put there, you can see how it brings it up, and you know this is your front leaf. They also have some reds to it, African violets. I have lots of red, so I'm just throwing some reds in there. I was thinking to help me with this leaf, I'm going to do a little bit of more saturation in there as well, and sharper edge. So this way, and then a little bit of more pink and red. This way this leaf definitely in front of the other leaf, even though it's not as bright as the other leaf. Same thing I'm going to do on this leaf. It's more saturation again. And you can see I still keep my edges fairly soft. This edge, this leaf actually very damaged leaf, but I'm not going to pay too much attention to that damage. So what else I see in these leaves? Just there is a lot of purple. There's a lot of purple under this one. Really purpley leaf. So I'm going to introduce some of that purple in there. Still not sure about this stem. Should I keep it at all or not? Or should I even remove that leaf completely? But I guess for the purpose of this painting I just do this little, because I only see the edge of it. It depends which way I bend my head. Yeah. So, direction. Okay, so I'll take a little smaller brush again. Try to go with background color. Keep a little cleaner. So, we're out of white. What a surprise. Tell the truth, I think I'm almost done for the purpose of video. I don't want you to see me painting little details of flowers and leaves. I just want to show the general idea. Like, it's almost done anyway. Normally I don't go into too much detail if I can avoid it. I leave painting as it is, fresh from the easel. But what I'm going to show, I'm going to just to do quickly. I'm taking a big brush, just swipe a little bit of lighter background just to see how that will work. Still using, hardly used any medium today. Sometimes I use medium on the second day. Sometimes I oil with it a little. So this is a, oh, I keep going to my other palette. So this is a background color that I'm going to keep just a tiny bit of orange in some places to warm it up, but lots of white at this point. That's what I can see. try not to blend. That's my problem. It's one of my problems. I blend sometimes. So I have to keep myself under control not to blend. So now I had cool light and now I can see sun coming out. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to keep it as it is. But at the back, so here I have a little bit, so whatever variations of tone and color on my background, I probably will do it, but I think it's coming really nice with that transparency. So if you can see, my panel was pre-toned and it's almost dry. Now I go with clean color and I don't put a very thick layer of that color right now, just a little, bring in a little bit of, so I have gray, but the light falls on it now and it's actually enlightened a little more than I thought originally. So I decided to throw that light in while I see it, just to see how it will look. And you can see my flowers really pop out now. I may work on some details of the leaves in the background. I may do some edge variations where I can. Right now it's fairly soft. I probably will keep majority of it very soft. Yeah, flowers look, I think, okay. Not too sharp, but you know it's African violets. So the only thing I was going to do, so it's already 1 hour actually, it's video becoming long, so I think I will finish it for now. I hope it was good view. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it a little closer just to see the close-up. Also I'm going to show my background, oh sorry, not background, setup. So this is my painting.